yesterday, and obviously got Florida State since then. Even talk me through Wednesday, the LSU offer, how that happened, and what that meant and felt like as the big home state school.
With that offer, like earlier in the day, I got Texas, and that offer I wasn't expecting it so early. Me and you, we talked earlier before. It was just a process. I was taking my time to be patient because I know in-state schools, they usually wait till, the summer or the after your junior year. So honestly, when I got the offer, I was really excited. Like, I was jumping around and everything. It meant a lot. Being from my home state, the best in the booth, stay in the booth. So for them to think I could be a part of that is amazing.
How did Coach Cortez stop by here during the day, or how did you find out about the offer?
It was actually Coach Frank Wilson who came by. I didn't know he was coming. Like I said again, I walked into my coach's office to ask him about our lift, and he was right there. He pulled me aside and was talking to me, and was telling me about how they like me and why they think I could be a great fit.
When you saw Frank, did you have a feeling yesterday might be the day that move was happening?
Actually, no. I was completely clueless, and I just want to thank God for that.
When you look at your development the last couple of years to get to this point where we're talking about you as a top guy in this class in the state and a guy that is highly ranked on a national level, I mean, what do you attribute your continued development growth, these opportunities to, from back when you were a young 8th grade guy,
yeah,
out here for the first time to where you're now at that level?
Honestly, I just want to thank God first, and then also my supporting cast. They hard on me. My mom, every day, she hard on me to strive and get better, and she tell me every time, you need to get bigger, faster, stronger. So that's just, I'm grinding to get better.
What have you been most proud of in terms of your development growth? We talked at track. I mean, you surprised a lot of people this spring with how fast you were already running.
Mm-hmm.
Has that been the biggest thing for you, or is there something else that maybe we're not talking as much about that you're most proud of?
I think that is because, like I said, doing track in the beginning, it was just to keep me in shape for football. But, now my progression from last year, my fastest time was 11.47. To get that all the way down to 10.3 is just showing how much I've been grinding and working to get better, to be able to play at any college in the world.
It seems like you're feeling super comfortable and confident just like in your role, both as now about to be an upperclassman with this program, as well as being kind of a high-profile prospect. How are you feeling about just like your overall maturation and the way that you're able to approach things?
Number one, I always stay humble because it could be taken away in a second, I've just been staying humble, taking it day by day, and I got to get better somehow every day. If it's not by training, then mentally, just doing little things to help me get better, to also not just help me on the football field, to be a better man off the field too.
Seems like up until this recent run, Ole Miss and Houston had been two that had been really kind of at the forefront of your recruiting process. I know Ole Miss is one that you'd had a visit on the books for a while and were looking forward to the spring and whatnot. Tell me about those two programs. What has stood out about those that have made them such a factor for you early on?
Honestly, both schools, they've been showing me a lot of love, and they both got guys from Louisiana. So, it's just natural, homegrown, and, I feel like Louisiana is one of the most underrated states in the country. So anytime I get to be around the same people from Louisiana, they're basically my brothers. So I cherish that a lot.
And then a day like yesterday where Texas enters the conversation and LSU obviously we talked about a little bit already. How much of a game changer is that? It feels like both of those programs probably enter the top of that conversation right away.
Yeah.
So, how big was yesterday in terms of probably a little bit today too with Florida State, just new programs joining that kind of top mix?
I think it's starting to put more colleges like the Oregons, the Ohio States, all of those type of schools to start taking an eye at me to see that I'm really like that. And if the other schools think I'm good, then maybe this guy is actually a talent. So I thank God for yesterday.
You mentioned Louisiana guys that are at some of those other programs. Who have you heard from in terms of guys already off at college, whether those programs or if in the last 24 hours, like Jabari or somebody that's committed, or any of the guys that are already in Baton Rouge? Who have you heard from in terms of Louisiana guys from any of those programs that have tried to get in your ear a little bit and let you know what their programs are like?
Up at Houston, Kobe Young, coming from Holy Cross, played against him my freshman year. Really talented. He got a big year ahead of him. it's just natural. You know, he telling me about the program, the coaches. You know, that whole coaching staff came from Tulane, and you know they like to put their guys in position to win. Same as Ole Miss. My receiver coach last year, he's now the recruiting coordinator over there. So, you know, I've been to the game last year against Georgia. They really took chances with their receivers, and they're not scared.
And I mean, you're still. We talked about it before as well. I mean, a year away from a decision, so you got all kinds of time. At this point in the process, what are the things that you're looking for from the programs when you're kind of getting a chance to have some of those conversations or meet them and just continue to gather as much information on, you know, what they each have to offer, what the field is like at different places? What are the factors that are kind of top of mind for you as you sort through everything?
You know, with me, another thing that's with my recruitment with me, I'm not too much worried about the NIL money because I know that's going to come long down the line as I play and progress on the field. But mainly what I'm looking into colleges is a place that feels like home, a brotherhood, you know, a coaching staff that's not scared to, you know, say my receiver's better than your DB and to, you know, attack that. That's what I'm about. I'm not scared of nothing. You know, what I say is it's me versus you, and we gonna battle to the end.